about cars, what the future looks like, and maybe give you some tips along the way, things to look out for. About Your House is brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. About Your House is also brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store, and they've been serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience that they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Todd Compton's Automotive. Let's talk about cars, automobiles, trucks. Yeah, lots of trucks in this here city. You know, I was in a conversation with somebody 2 days ago, and they said, Ray, how come you don't see any old cars in Charlotte? You know, that's the question I've been asking, because they want you a new one. Why? Because they want you to pay out of pocket for that car. They want you to drive new cars. That's why they'll give you a deal on going to purchase a new car. Yeah, they do a great job at selling you, don't they? But why aren't there any old cars anymore, Todd?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One that, well, the first thing that pops in my mind is the cash for clunkers back. I can't remember what year that was, but it took a lot of...
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it took a lot of used cars out of the market. And I don't know the numbers on that, but I know for us, even trying to find some used parts for people that did want to fix their vehicles, you can even buy the used parts off those cars. Yeah, they were taking them and just doing whatever. But that, of course, that was, I don't know, I can't remember. I don't remember what year that was, maybe 2012 or I don't recall. But that took a lot out of the market. The other is that some vendors, some parts have been discontinued. It's hard to find some of the things. And then...
Parts you're talking about?
Parts, yes.
Well, I know in the appliance business, now I'm sorry to deviate away from automotive, but same thing. I've got a washing machine upstairs, Maytag.
Right.
Timer's bad. I can't find it. They don't make the timer anymore. I mean, here you've got an old, good Maytag, non-computer appliance that I can't find a timer for. I could find one on another used one somewhere if I could find that, but a timer.
So another thing with the old cars, having the expectations from the customers on older vehicles can be difficult. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm not trying to come across the wrong way, but someone brings in like for instance, like we don't work on anything. We're very limited or very choosy about what we work on.
Well, you've got your niches you'll stay in and away from.
Correct. Yeah. Anything that's 1996 or older, we try not to work on, and there's reasons behind that.
Hold on a second. 1996 or older, so beyond older than 1996.
Correct. We don't. That we try not to work on. I mean, at the very certain occasions will we work on a vehicle that's older than 1996. And so
my truck was one of them, that 95 F-150 I had.
Yeah, so if a vehicle comes in and it's depending what type, it depends if the customer wants to take, if it's taken care of.
Sure.
There's some older vehicles out there that just, unfortunately, they're just not taken care of, and sometimes what happens is people still have that 1989 or 1995 mentality. So the industry has moved on so much that even some of the test equipment that we had for those older vehicles, we don't have anymore. Yeah, and it's just not something you see every day anymore. And so then also the expectation from the customers can be where the cost should be cheaper to work on these older vehicles, when actually in reality it should be more expensive, because we go in there, things might break because things old plastic.
They're old, yeah.
30-year-old plastic, yeah, it's probably going to break, snap, crack, pop. I mean, there's and then trying to find vendors that have the parts. Now, you can go online. I'm sure you can find parts for almost anything out there. However, being in a professional business, we have to have vendors that will support us.
Exactly. Support the materials.
Correct. And then if you buy something from Amazon's a great place. I mean, you can buy a lot of stuff off there. But if I buy a bearing for an older truck or something like that, and it fails like within the first 10 minutes, I've got no recourse really.
Right.
And so
that's why I don't like Amazon.
Well, I'm just saying.
But I'm gonna say it because people will buy these cheap vent hoods, cheaper on Amazon. Well, it's not going to last you probably 5 to 6 years, and that's okay. Then it becomes a disposable appliance. In other words, you can't fix them,
right? Because
you can't get the parts because they're all made in China, and now you can get parts, but the parts are hard to. Same thing. That's kind of what I'm saying here.
Well, and sometimes Amazon, because they have so many people sellers under Amazon, that might be the only place you can find something.
Yeah, you're right.
And so a great example is we had a 2002 Lexus ES300 in there several weeks ago, and the power mirrors would not work, and the power seat would not raise up and down. It moved forward and back, so the up and down motor was bad. That part was nowhere. Those parts were nowhere available. So, that's something, I had to go, even me, I went in to try to find them and found them off a Amazon seller. Yeah. And they're used. And so
really Amazon's but that's pretty darn good because you did have that resource to go to.
Right.
So it wasn't like you're out, just totally out in the blue with it. You do have resources through Amazon, used parts.
Correct. Now, however, that part goes bad. There's really no recourse. There's no warranty on it.
Right.
It's a used part.
Right.
But that's all we could find. And so you start getting back to even older models, and so that's where I know Rock Auto we haven't really. Out of 20 years on, we might have bought maybe 2 or 3 parts off Rock Auto, but it comes back to who supports us and how we can make sure our customers are supported. And so if we can't do that, and that's my business model, is I want to be able to support the customers.
And I'm going to give you a prime example. I took them, you worked on my Sedona, put an alternator on it, a brand new alternator, less than 2 months. Well, I called and said, my alternator's bad. This new alternator's bad. He said, well, how do you know? Of course, the way the fluctuations are going with my electrical.
Right.
Sure enough, took it out there. It was supported. It took care of it. Warranty, it was under warranty. And that's a great example of what we're talking about. And you had support on that alternator. You replaced it, and all's well and good.
Correct.
And that happens more frequent today, as I understand it, than of yesteryear as far as quality control on the products.
Back in the dealer days, I was in the late 90s. I would have to say, even up to the mid 2000s, there was a lot of quality control problems. When it came to parts.
Right.
Oh yeah. So we I think back in 2003, 2004, I don't think I did so much warranty work. I mean, I did a lot of warranty work, for General Motors, and so it may go in cycles. It may depend, who decides to bid on the parts.
Right.
But it's come and go. It's always been, all of a sudden you'll have a string of great parts and nothing really come back, and then sometimes you just have a string of them.
Gotcha. Well, in the past, where do you see us going with cars? I mean, automobiles, and that's kind of a vague question, so let me redefine it or pin it down a little bit. Electronic screens, computers.
Right.
I've heard and seen videos and what have you about how cars are becoming so dealership oriented. In other words, you're going to have to take your car, some of these cars, back to the dealership to get diagnosed and fixed. Is that something we got to worry about?
Not at the moment. Now, it also depends on the shop that you take your vehicle to and how forward thinking they are and how much they want to put into their equipment and training. Now, there's plenty of shops. There's shops out there. They're great shops, and they know what's coming. They know, they're very prepared for it, just like ourselves. We have laptops that go in and we can program different modules. Now, some of the keys and the key fobs, we don't really work with that too much, but we have a source for that, so we don't have to take it to the dealer. And so, but if you have a shop that's not necessarily forward thinking and does not want to mess with any of that, then sometimes you will get the answer, we can't fix it, it'll need to go to the dealer. And actually, it doesn't necessarily have to. There's just other shops out there that can handle it.
With technology, with compatible technology and
Correct.
diagnosing issues.
Correct.
So that's software and computer tools.
Correct.
So, and that's something that I wanted to take into consideration in the conversation here, is you've got to be like you've got to buy that software, and some of that stuff ain't cheap.
No, it's not. And
but you can't do it without it.
Right. Yeah, you have to make the additional investment. Yeah, like I gave examples. The new Freon that the R1234YF. We were only seeing just a couple cars throughout the year that had it, but the equipment was extremely expensive, and so at the time you couldn't really justify the cost. But then when I started seeing at least a half a dozen of them come in, and we did other methods, manual methods of servicing these AC systems. That's when I went ahead and made the investment on the equipment to be able to service them. And now, even today, not every shop has one of those.
Right.
Yeah, and because of the expense, but because we have it and we know how to use it, Rob and Air, actually, they came in and they worked with our technicians to show us how to use it properly. So now we're able to take care of our customers and other and sometimes even other shops that we can
that rely on you as a resource.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. Well, I would think, what do I know, with all the screens in cars today, that the technology side of things would be a bit problematic on all this Bluetooth and connectivity between. I mean, I'm sure it's bound to get complicated.
It's oddly enough, a lot of that stuff is pretty solid, and when something does go wrong, what we look for one, we need to understand the system that's actually failing, and that's where it comes back to service information. When we have the dealer or the manufacturer service information, we can learn, as long as we can read and understand how the system works, and then the proper equipment to read data, and that's where it comes, reading data. If something's not working, we need to find out why it's not. Do we look at what's prohibiting from working, or what it's not seeing, what the computer system is not seeing, why is it being turned off, or whatever it may be? We can get into those modules and read the data, and then from understanding how the system works, we're going to read the data, and then be able to diagnose the problem.
Wow. Now, here we are in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You went in business 20 years ago.
Right.
So 20 years you've been doing this. Now, is there, like my Sedona is 2006.
Okay.
Was there a year that things got better? Like, I know Hyundai and Kia both have bad raps for early, even before I bought mine, because before I bought mine, they were junk. And the door handles on them are still junk because I done broke two. When the ice storm came?
Yeah.
I walked out and pulled up my handle. It came off in my hand.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
It did. And then the same day I reached to the back to pull it out, and dang if it didn't break.
That's not, I won't say mostly common, but it's not uncommon.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I've got to go on Amazon or somewhere and find new door handles, and they're white. So, and people say, well, are they going to come white?
Oh, yeah.
Probably not.
You might get lucky.
But maybe.
You might get lucky on that.
But there's an example of old. Is there an age that things got better? Like Kia has come on strong with their marketing and their quality, apparently, because they're sure selling a lot of cars.
They are.
And Hyundai, too.
I would say, like Honda, Kia, probably from like around 2014ish to 2019, they had some issues with their engines, and so it was getting to a point where we were seeing either a Kia or a Hyundai product at least once, twice a month with a blown engine, and that was just for me. That was devastating for the customer. I mean, we had some that were just beautiful cars. Still, they're great shaped cars. However, because of Hyundai and Kia, they were replacing engines under their powertrain warranty, or mainly that they didn't have any engines to spare to sell. And for some reason, there's other manufacturers or whatever engineering default or defect they had on those engines. Like some of the big manufacturers were not taking those engines and remanufacturing them, so we did not have options. And so sometimes, I mean, I saw a 2019 Hyundai. I think it was an Elantra, a beautiful looking car, 80,000 miles. But because they were second owner, Hyundai
wouldn't support the warranty.
Right, and it's got a bad motor, and we could not get a hold of an engine for this thing, and so I don't know what they finally did with it, but so those were kind of some of the years that we saw that were really bad. GM, Ford, a lot of the domestic stuff. Dodge had some issues. Well, they really had all issues with it. I mean,
there's been issues with all the newer cars, all the newer models.
Yeah.
Ford, Chevy, Dodge, they've all had their issues with their engines and drivetrains.
Yeah, I mean,
it seems like now I don't know. I'm not in the business, but I do hear and watch and pay attention. And but how do you know? What do you know? Like which engine which cars are the best? Which engines are the best? Like back in the old days, you couldn't go wrong with a Chevy V8, an old Chevy or an old Ford or whatever. But that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I've been asked that question a lot of times, and I kind of look at it as that these manufacturers make so many vehicles, and just kind of like the news media, the 1% of bad stuff we always hear about, but the 99%, they're fine.
Right.
Yeah, and so, I try to tell people, if the cars didn't break down, we would not be in business.
Right.
So it does, and we work on Asian domestic, and so to say, this car you'll never have problems with, or this car you'll never have a problem with, it's a blind statement. You cannot make that. But I can tell you, I drive a Ford. I would have driven a GMC, but I didn't like the way it fit. So I was like, whatever's comfortable to you, drive it, and take care of it. I know the Ford 10-speed transmissions, they got problems. Same thing with GM. Dodge, they've had their problems with the transmissions. Whichever one I pick, I may have one. I may have to rebuild it one day, but I'm not going to let that scare me. I know it could be expensive, but I still want to drive like what's comfortable to me.
Sure. And
what works. So that's one of the really best way I can answer that question is I mean, if you want if you don't need a truck and you just want a reliable car, I go back to the Toyota Honda.
I was going to say Camry. Very dependable vehicle through the years. Toyota.
Right.
Toyotas in general, pretty dependable vehicle.
Right.
And Hondas.
Yeah, and then even another one out there that we see that we don't see very many problems with is even the Mazda.
Right.
And Mazda seems to be getting always kind of be forgotten about. But the ones we have coming in, we've had repairs over the years on them, but we also see them with a lot of miles and still do very well. So Mazda's very good, very good product. And then, GM and Ford, the Ford Escape. I know some people will trash it, but that's one of the vehicles I want to buy for next loaner vehicle. I think that's a great vehicle. And it's again, some are going to have problems, but they all do.
My son hates his. He hated it. He said that's the biggest. It leaks. It's not the mechanical side of it.
Right.
He's worried about it. It's the way it leaks around the sunroof and what have you.
Well, now you bring that up. I that's one thing. Ford, I would when I bought my truck, I want to make sure it did not have a sunroof, because we did go through sunroof. We went through a string of sunroof issues at the shop. People bringing them in, the sunroof would break. Any Ford sunroof, they had these plastic tracks on them, and the plastic would crack, and then the sunroof would stay open. And so, and a lot of times what happened, it would be that just the weather, the pollen, tree sap, whatever it may be, or
collects up in the joints and creates leaks.
Well, what happens is it all sticks, and then one day I haven't opened that sunroof in a couple of years. It's a beautiful day today. They hit that switch. Of course, all that rubber is stuck to the metal because of all that goo that got in there, and all of a sudden, something's going to break. It's either going to break away from the rubber's going to break away from the metal, or the plastic that moves it is going to break. And so that's typically what happens.
And there's probably plastic gears involved.
There is, yeah.
I don't like plastic. But let's talk about some sponsors here. We got to talk about our sponsors, our great sponsors that support us, and we couldn't do what we do without it. And once you support About Your House Radio, you're also supporting Put Tools in Schools, the voice of Put Tools in Schools. And we definitely need support to make all this happen. And, more than that, with Put Tools in Schools, we need time, we need help, we need volunteers. But right now, let's talk about ABS Insulating. If you've got comfort issues, especially in the summer, and summer months coming, yes, getting warmer, but been in the 80s here the past couple weeks. The hotter it gets, the less comfort you're going to feel. That's right. And you don't fight temperature in the summertime in Charlotte. You fight humidity. And to minimize humidity, you need a good air seal program on your house. Call ABS Insulating and ask about such as an air seal program. They've got various ways, techniques, and with thermal imaging, they can research and diagnose the problematic areas of your house and repair them with using various methodologies. Also, spray foam, if you're looking to renovate, build a new house, you're interested in spray foam, open cell, closed cell, they're specialists in spray foam. ABS Insulating also has a gutter division that can take care of any gutter problems you may have. You want to replace, put new, half barrel, whatever you may want, they've got it. And gutter protection, they've got a system that's supported by the manufacturer in a great system, very affordable. That's ABS Insulating. ABSinsulating.com. Go online, give them a call, set up an appointment, have the conversation. Attic encapsulation, something I bring up quite frequently because it's very, very effective. If you think your system's undersized, well, you can encapsulate your attic with spray foam and minimize the wear and tear on an existing system and bring your comfort up to date. That's absinsulating.com. And Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte, they bring the showroom to you. They've got vans that have everything you need for floor covering right there on that van. They can show you what you may not know, what you may not know you wanted. That's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Go online, yourflooringteam.com. And let's don't forget about one of our major sponsors, and a great company at that, Queen City Home Store. Since 1952, Queen City, the Woody Player family. The Player family, been in Charlotte, serving the Charlotte market since 1952. Queen City Home Store is your complete home furnishings go-to store. Be it bedding, be it furniture, appliances, media, you name it, they've got you covered. Put them together with Floor Coverings International, and you got everything you need right there in your house. And let's don't forget, QueenCityOnline.com. You can do all your shopping right there online. QueenCityOnline.com, or give corporate a call at 704-391-6000. Queen City Home Store, serving Charlotte since 1952. Got Compton's Automotive in the house today, serving Charlotte too. Another homie, Todd Compton, born and raised in Charlotte, and been in business since 2005 as Compton's Automotive. And you're on Cyrus Drive?
Correct. Cyrus Lane.
ComptonsAutomotive.com? What is it?
ComptonsAutomotive.com.
ComptonsAutomotive.com. And you got Stacy, right?
No, we don't.
She's not there anymore?
No.
How long has she been gone?
Right about almost a month.
Okay, cool. not cool, but hate to hear
Right.
it. Stacy was with you quite some time.
Yeah, about 3.5 years.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
It's always changing, isn't it?
It is. It is.
You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, do you?
No, you don't. No. Yeah, but
Life will throw you curves.
yeah, a little bit.
But that's being in business. That's who we are, right? It's what we deal with every day.
Yep, we
You
certainly
know,
do.
you never know what you're going to wake up to. What your boys doing now?
So my oldest son, he actually he works for a software company that handles that has software developed for the automotive industry. Yeah, he was at the shop for he was I think I brought him on the shop when he was 13. Actually, he turns 30 in May. I cannot believe it. But
Get older, Todd.
yeah, I know.
How many grandkids you got now?
3.
Cool.
And so he worked. They say doing what he was doing at the shop was not his passion. I could tell, and he was just kind of. I don't know if he was staying there because of me or whatever, but I knew he really liked troubleshooting. I mean, he liked troubleshooting. He liked troubleshooting software problems, and so we kind of
He was on the tech side.
yes. And then my youngest son, he works for a company here in Charlotte that builds crates that for these pieces of equipment that's 10, 20, 30, 40,000 pounds. And,
Wow.
And he'll build these crates, and he has to cut the wood, build all the framing for them so they can get shipped on boats. And
Carpentries for shipping. Carpentry
yeah.
for shipping.
Yep. So he has to measure out. Yeah, there's a whole.
I was going to say, he can read a tape measure. Wow.
Yeah, he has to build. I guess he gets these blueprints, and he has to build these. Work on building these crates, and he showed me a picture of one of them. Or actually, showed me a video of one of them. And the thing was, whatever piece of equipment it was, I don't know what it was, but it was like at least 10 foot tall, and it had to be at least 20 foot long.
Right.
And I don't know where it was getting shipped to, but it had to go on this wooden crate and be protected, and then get shipped somewhere across seas.
I hear you.
So that's
So they're doing good.
yeah. He likes working with his hands. He likes, everything's different.
You know, that's a basic reality of humanality, if that's a good word. We all like to work with our hands. God made us that way. It's amazing. It truly is. Our abilities to work with our mind, critical thinking, using our hands, it's almost common to people once they know how. These are tools. We're not taught to use them in school.
Yep. He works with he works with all kinds of tools. Drills,
Sure.
saw blades,
Well, everything.
measuring tapes,
Yeah.
wrenches.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, impacts. I mean, yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Well, back to the automotive world. I want you to tell people what you would recommend in owning an automobile. You know, people take automobiles for granted. We all do. We jump in it. We turn it on, and unfortunately, my background in automotive is too much. Sometimes I think I know what the problems are, as you well know, and I don't. You know.
Right.
Last time I took my Sedona to you, I had overheating issue.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that overheating issue I thought was a radiator cap. It was bad, but that wasn't what was wrong with it. Then I said, well, maybe it's something else, thermostat, so we replaced thermostat. Moral to the story is I didn't know what I was doing.
I'd forgotten you'd done some work to it.
Yep.
I forgot that.
I did some work, but all the work I did was not the issue.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, but see, I was trying to save money. And let's face it, and I'll say it outright, it's not cheap to get your automobile fixed.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah.
And I know you get complaints on why is everything so darned expensive. One, labor. You pay a technician now $25, $30, $40 an hour, and you have to.
Oh yeah.
You have to pay them well to keep them. And you also want a great technician working on your car so it's done correctly. So you got to pay for that. And you're going to pay for it. It's just like you pay a lawyer. You pay an attorney, like when you went in business, you paid him well.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're going to pay a service tech in an automotive company well.
Yeah. When it comes to technicians, you have people that want to work on cars. You have people that think they know how to work on cars, and then you have people that want to work on them.
Got to have a passion.
Yes. So the ones you pay very, very well are the ones that want to work on them, because the ones that think they can work on them are the ones that's going to try to do it cheap and think they can do it in your driveway, and they screw something up.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they not knocking that they want to try to make a living, but it's like, me saying, what, I can build a house. I can read tape measure. I got some tools in my toolbox. Let me go build a house. Now let me figure out how to do the measure the A-frame, so I know the exact degrees that it needs to be. Let me wing it.
Yeah, go to YouTube University and see what you can pull out of the hat.
Yeah, let's see how long it lasts. See how long it lasts standing up. I just don't know. Or the same thing with electrician. Yeah, I think I could wire that in. But anyway, long story short, the technicians out there that want to work on these things, it's their passion. You pay them very well. Yeah, because when you take your car in somewhere, you want to make sure that person's working in your car wants to be there, loves what they do, and consistently tries to excel in their craft. Instead of someone that's just there for a job.
It's chasing the money.
Yeah. So
something else I tell all the kids: don't chase money.
Right.
Chase purpose and passion.
But it is expensive. It is expensive.
Well, parts ain't cheap.
The parts ain't cheap, and even the cost, the cost of running the business,
yes,
is not cheap. It's very expensive.
It is very expensive. The overhead and operating, insurances, overhead, the building itself, the rent. Rent ain't cheap in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right.
And you got a big building over there. Mm-hmm. That rent is not cheap. The insurance to make it all viable is not cheap. The software, the overhead, the tools you have to put in that building, very expensive. And a good equipped automotive, company such as yours, repair business, has to have the equipment.
It does, yes, and the information. Yeah, I think last year we spent close to $60,000 just in subscriptions. Now,
wow.
Now people got their subscriptions on their phones and all that kind of stuff, and you got to expense creep coming in.
Well, it's just like this podcast studio. We've got 4 or 5 subscriptions we have to have in order to distribute all this data or information we do. Same thing.
So I will, by every quarter, I will go through my my statements, and I'll look and see what subscriptions we can do without.
Right.
And it's to the point where there's not one subscription that I can really take out that is not needed by the technicians or the front staff.
Those are the same thing as tools. Mm-hmm. They're just resources.
Right. Yep.
And if you don't have them, you don't have that information available to you.
That's right. You gotta have it. Yeah. Sometimes I don't like paying for it, but I'm like, if I don't have it, we won't be able to do this, or the guys, I won't be able to support the staff.
Oh, I've learned too in this world we live in, and this is true in every service industry too. Mm-hmm. It's not just automotive. Mm-hmm. HVAC technicians, electrical technicians, service technicians in all sectors need that technology connection.
Right. So that's been a big difference, big change from 2005 to 2026. Yeah, I think in 2005, I may have had maybe 2 subscriptions of information. And so it's changed a lot over the years.
Is there a common problem that comes in more common than anything else in the automotive repair business nowadays?
It comes and goes. I'd say around 2021, 22, we saw a lot of I'm talking like mechanical common failures. The Ford Transit vans and the F-150s with the V6 turbos, we saw a lot of those leak. It seemed like there was a string of them. That was a common failure for a while. And then Dodge, Chrysler products, the oil filter adapter housing would leak. And so we see common, it's like these waves that come in, and it'll last for a couple of years, and then you got the new flavor coming in.
Right.
And so it's, and then of course, then as the years go on, those get peppered back in, here and there. But right now, I can't necessarily think of a particular common failure that we're seeing at the moment, other than just miscellaneous, a lot of different repairs, but nothing that's just one right after another, after another, after another. I know Subarus would have an issue with head gaskets. Through so many models, we did plenty of those. So right now, not seeing much at the moment, as far as pattern failures.
Well, if you own a vehicle, there's things you do need to know, and one of the things I think everyone should know about is your battery connections.
Well, if you can find some of them. If you can find some of them.
The newer ones. Mm-hmm. They've changed.
Yeah, sometimes when you open hood, even as long as years I've been in this business, sometimes I open the hood going, where is the battery at in this car?
You mean they're not totally visible now?
Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're covered by panels.
Shrouds and whatever.
Yeah. Some of them are in the trunk. Well, years ago, Buick had them under the back seat, and so. I mean, and there's still a lot of cars you can still see the battery connections on them, but yeah.
But that's a big issue, battery connections.
The more or less the maintenance-free batteries with the lead acid, them leaking a little bit of acid through the top posts and then corroding up the cables.
Exactly.
We see that quite often.
Yeah, and people don't know. And I opened the hood one day, and the battery connection was literally destroyed by corrosion.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yep.
I said, there's your issue right there. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you check this? That's something I think we need to teach our children, our kids, is basic function of a vehicle. Battery, air in the tires, changing a tire, how to take a tire off, believe it or not. Yep. All those things need to be taught to, females as well. You don't want to be stranded, especially on the side of a road in Charlotte, North Carolina.
No, you don't. No, I've been there a few times.
Oh, me too. I got AAA now, though. I got it 2 weeks ago.
I do, too.
Again. Mm-hmm. I didn't have it for years, but then T-Mobile gave me a free year, so I said, okay, we'll go for it.
Well, sometimes what's bad is a shop. We'll take a vehicle out for a test drive to duplicate a problem, and then it cuts off, and you're on 485, 85, and you're like, oh, boy. So we understand how it can be a scary feeling.
Have you ever thought about getting a rollback?
No. Too much liability.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I asked the question. I was curious because, a lot of companies go out and purchase automotive repair places, go out and buy a rollback. No. That's a wrecker, folks, if you didn't know. Rollback.
Yep. That's not my wheelhouse. And honestly,
I don't blame you.
And honestly, I'm going to kind of toot my own horn, or the shop's horn here. We do our best when vehicles come in. I would say we get them checked over well enough and educate the customer on what's coming down to have repaired, that if you've been our customer for at least 3 visits, it's very, very, very rare that we have any of our existing customers have to have their vehicle towed into us. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's very infrequent. Because we try to catch that stuff before it happens.
Right, gotcha.
And so that's why it's not worth it for me to have a rollback.
No, I hear you. And plus the expense of another truck, all the insurance and liability.
And staff.
And staff, somebody to drive it, maintain it, run it.
Yep.
Because you just can't tell your mechanics go pick up a car.
Nope.
They're busy.
That's right.
And they don't want to start with, probably.
No. They're focused on working on fixing those cars.
Yep. Do your technicians now love what they do?
I believe they do. We're going through some actually shop training at the moment. We're going through leadership training.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's good.
For each individual. And that, if you go back to communication, we're learning how to communicate better.
Yeah.
Between each other, and so we do that not only to have the staff there to be happier there, but also that's going to rub off to how our customers get treated.
The most important thing anyone does every day, and I don't care what business you're in, doesn't matter. I've talked about it countless times on this show. I do it every week. What's the most important thing we do on a daily basis? And it's absolutely imperative to a successful career. Mm-hmm. Communicate. And I really appreciate what you're doing with your staff, because communication skills, and I talk to kids all the time when they're afraid to talk.
Right.
They're afraid to talk. They're afraid to say something that I might deem as bad or ridicule them. They just carry this fear around, and there are some heavy talkers in school. Don't misunderstand me. Some kids that, like me, that talked a lot and still talk a lot, but there are so many kids that more than not are afraid to communicate.
I completely agree, even myself included. And
I'm not, and it gets me in trouble. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Oh, geez. Yeah, I've got a big mouth, and I'm very assertive, and sometimes it comes across not nice, and I have been criticized for it by many people. What really bothers me, though, is, and I'm going to just say it outright, probably shouldn't say what I'm about to say one of those times, why haven't people got enough gumption, enough nerve to confront me and tell me what they really feel? They won't. They won't do it. They'll go through somebody else. Why don't you tell Ray he does? Mm-hmm. Why don't you go tell him? And that's a strong personality. People are afraid of it. I wish they weren't. But while we're at it, let's talk about some sponsors here. Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. 2 young men straight out of college in their late 20s said, we're going to make a better product. And that's the product of Foundation Repair and Solutions. Crawl space encapsulation, foundation repair, helical piers, sunken slabs, sunken patios, sunken driveways. They can pump them back into place through foam injection systems. Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions, your one stop, go fix it all, regardless of what's wrong with your house. Give them a call. Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. Like I said, 2 young men created a great company. One's in the numbers and the other's into the construction itself. Both licensed, both North Carolina and South Carolina, from the coast to the hills. They'll take care of you. That's Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. Go online, check them out. RhinoLiftFoundations.com. Kilo Exterminating. We talk about crawl spaces. I recommend everybody, if you have a crawl space, you need to have that crawl space inspected at least once every 2 years, minimum. Some people would say every year, but you could probably get by with going 2 years for an inspection. Call Kilo Exterminating. Give them a call. Go online, kilo.biz. Call them, set an appointment. Nice people, great company. 3 generations of specialists in the entomology business. Entomology, study of bugs. Yep. Kilo Exterminating Company, kilo.biz. Today, Compton's Automotive, in-house, talking about vehicles, cars, how we take them for granted. And we do a lot of that, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, including myself.
We all do. We take them for granted. And unfortunately, and this is the truth, you need to take care of that automobile, because we talked about the expense involved in getting one repaired these days. Mm-hmm. There is no cheap automotive repairs anymore. Hardly, it's all relative, but you're one step away from a disaster, a financial disaster, when you own an automobile.
You definitely can be.
I'm one of them right now. When the car breaks, you're looking at a major expense.
Well,
typically.
Yeah, I don't want to scare people on this, but
be aware.
Well, yeah, best definitely be aware, but it doesn't need to scare you. Maintain a vehicle, and that's really what it comes. Like what it comes down to. If you maintain it and just try to take care of it, it's going to last. They're one in X amount of them, you may have a bad, something expensive may break. But there's going to be a lot of them out there. It's kind of like just, I won't say like playing the lottery, but you're going to have a bad apple in all those. But
cars break.
At least do your due diligence and just take care of your car.
Know where your fluids are. And I said fluids. You got to. And what's this thing about automatic transmissions being sealed now and you can't check them? Is that?
So, yes. Well, so you can check them, but there's a certain way to do it. There's no more dipstick. So there's on some manufacturers that well, sometimes it's where you use a scan tool.
Yeah, I was going to say you scan it using technology.
Well, what we do is we're looking for the transmission temperature, the transmission fluid temperature. And once we get up to a certain level, we get the vehicle up in the air. Then we actually check. Basically, there's a fill hole and a drain hole, and so you want to make sure the level is proper at the certain amount of temperature.
Right.
But you don't know what the temperature is. On the specifications, you didn't know what temperature is, and sometimes the only way to know what temperature is, you use a scan tool, so you can see actually what it is, so you can check at the right temperature. So there's a process for that. Sometimes there's a panel that might be in the way of the drain hole, and to check it. So it's not. Some of these you can't just pull the dipstick anymore and check it.
Right. That's what I was told.
And when it comes to fluids,
Is that coming standard now with all cars or just some cars?
we're seeing a lot of. I think it's really becoming more standard. I was several years ago. I was really kind of shocked. We had a F-150 in there, and we didn't have dipstick. And I don't remember what year it was. Maybe 2015. I don't remember. But I was surely enough, the truck would have one.
Right.
And no, it did not have one. And so a lot of front wheel drive cars don't have them anymore. So CVTs, that's constant velocity transmissions. They don't have a lot of them don't have one. So yeah, a lot of times you can't check them unless you run through a procedure.
Wow. And transmissions will fail.
They will, yes.
Depending on the mileage.
They can. I mean, of course, we've seen, again, not trying to scare anybody, but we've seen transmissions go 300,000+ miles. Seen some of them go 80,000 miles. So sometimes I kind of wonder, if the builder that day for the manufacturer is a Monday or Friday.
Right.
You never know. But like there's certain manufacturers out there that customers they are proactive and bring the vehicle into us and have us change out the fluid every 30,000 miles. Because they know this particular model has big issues with the transmission, and they want to make sure that it's going to last them a long time.
All right, now I'm going to ask a hairy question because it always befuddled me when I heard it. Changing brake fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Is that customary on certain mileages or what?
Yes. And when it comes to mileage, I would say change it before it gets too bad.
Now, what indicates bad? Dirty or what?
Moisture.
Moisture?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember the cap was off mine, and it really created some issues.
Yep.
And I have a good friend of mine. She had her oil changed 2 weeks ago, and I raised the hood because the check engine light was on. They put too much oil back in it, which the check engine light came on.
Interesting.
Finally, it went away. The check engine light was off, but I raised the hood to check the oil, and they had left the cap off the brake fluid.
Got it. Yeah, the brake fluid is a hydroscopic fluid, and so it absorbs moisture. And so the reason why you want to get that moisture out is because the water will boil at a lower temperature than the brake fluid. And so when brakes get really hot, if there's any moisture in the brake lines, you get a soft pedal or possibly a brake fade. Yeah, now that's kind of an extreme condition, but you don't want to get to that point.
No, Lord, no.
And so that's
you
why
don't want to press your brake pedal and have no brakes.
So that's
one of the scariest feelings you could ever have on the road. I've been there, done that.
So what we use pieces of equipment to test the moisture content, and we've gone through multiple of them trying to find good test equipment that's reliable, that gives us reliable data on knowing the moisture content of brake fluid.
What's the most important service? Is it change oil?
Absolutely. Yeah, with today's engines, yeah. You got there's such tight clearances between the bearings. Yeah, and if it's turbocharged, it's the heat. the heat cycles. Get that. For one, getting in there to make sure the oil is changed. Also, make sure the proper level. These engines will burn oil. We do see newer engines burn oil, and and so sometimes we still put the stickers in the windshield, and some people go off the indicator, the oil life indicator, and so we will put the sticker in there to try to have them come back, not necessarily because we want their business, because we want to make sure that at least that you still got oil in the car. We've had customers come in that they'll make a right or left hand turn, all of a sudden the oil light comes on, and it's because the oil sloshing in the pan.
Because it went to one side.
Yeah, and but they're not due for an oil change yet, and so we want to make sure they don't blow their motor.
Right.
So that's probably one of the biggest
But there again, people need to know where their fluids are: the windshield washer fluid, the automatic transmission, if there is a check on that, your brake fluid, power steering fluid.
Well, that's power steering. It's going away. More and more cars.
They're self-contained units.
No, they're electronic.
They're electronic. You mean they're not hydraulic anymore?
No. Some of them are not.
Well, see, there's a biggie. When did that happen?
Manufacturers started kind of putting that in the, 2015, 2014.
So power steering hydraulic systems are going by the wayside. Now they're electronic.
Right.
What is not electronic anymore on a car? In the newer cars? Has it gone that far? Like if you don't have a reader now, you can't work on vehicles.
It makes it difficult. Yeah. So, of course, you still have transmission fluid, but power steering is gone. So really, a lot of times you have your coolant and brake fluid, and that's the two, and washer fluid,
Gotcha.
oil.
Now I'm going to talk about one more thing before we get off the air here, and that's called brakes. How do you know brake pads are bad?
They start grinding. That's kind of...
Well, I know. Okay. So when you go buy new tires, and I think, and I'm going to say it in front of Mr. Compton here, brakes are cash cows. If you want to save money, check your brakes. Because those pads are cheap, relatively speaking. Although a year ago they were $45, 2 weeks ago they were up to about $80. They've gone up that much in a year.
They've gone up.
Brake pads. Okay. I changed rear brake pads on a vehicle two weeks ago. Okay. If she would have waited another month, it'd have been metal against metal, and then you're going to put new rotors on.
Right.
Then it becomes a lot more expensive, right?
It does. Now, we do things a little different. When we do brake pads, we do a combination of brake pads and rotors. Excuse me. And there's reasons behind that. And a couple of reasons is our brake. When we do brakes, we want to stand behind the brake.
Yeah, right.
So we, if it squeaks, vibrates, pulsates, whatever, within 3 years or 36,000 miles, we're putting new set on. Right. If we just put pads on it, and nothing with the rotor, there could be a pulsation. The pads could squeak.
Right.
You could get noise. We don't want that. Other people it's fine if other people want to do that.
Right.
Totally
well, I know
fine.
you've got your protocol.
Yeah, but that's my procedure. That's how I do it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want any problems. I don't want that car coming back for a brake noise or brake pulsation.
But the point is, regardless, you want to know how your brakes are.
Yeah, and a good time check is if someone's rotating the tires or just doing or when you take it in for an oil change.
Right.
Hopefully they're doing the right inspection on it and checking the pads and seeing what the wear is.
And you've got another policy: when a car comes in, you're going to give it an overall inspection, and you pay for that.
No, customers do not pay for that.
They don't. That's why I wanted to ask the question.
No, that's something that we do as part of our policy. Is when a vehicle comes in, we do an overall check on that, and we send the customer pictures, videos, and any description of what's going on. And that, I know that could seem to some people we just want to try to sell stuff, and yeah, to a point, some of it. But however, if we can prevent you from having, if we just let you know,
At least you put it out there.
you put it out there. And I try to tell people we don't try to sell you anything. We just give you information and you make that decision. We just try to educate you on what's going on with your car.
Sure.
And we back it up by these pictures and video and description of what's actually going on. Just saying, instead of saying, hey, you need X, Y, Z, but I'm not going to show you why. We try to show you why.
It's the proof in the pudding. You got pictures, all this data.
Correct.
And then and also it's a menu, and you can pick out what you want to pay for and not. I've been there, done that quite a few times.
Correct.
And we hadn't talked about one feature Compton's offers, and that's your loaners.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We have, as of right now, we have 5 loaners that are complimentary. Well, if you come in for an oil change, you can hand us your keys and we'll hand you ours. And you take it for the day, whatever it needs. Because I know, even myself, again, my Ford truck, I got a recall on it. And Ford has been texting me and calling me for the past 2 months for me to get my truck in. I can't get it there. It's down in Fort Mill, and they don't have loaners. They don't have any other cars. So the only way I can get it there and drop it off is I drive there, get an Uber, then head to the shop, and then Uber back and pick it up. And so I realize that's a big problem. So we try to accommodate customers by having loaner vehicles.
Well, I tell you what, you've been great to me, and through the years with you got a GMC over there.
Oh, yeah.
I worked out of for 3 days. I did. I mean, and it worked. It worked well.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that because I wasn't dead in the water, and y'all had my car for almost a week.
Yeah.
And it was in bad shape, but
it wasn't that bad.
But at any rate, I got the loaner. It took care of me, and it worked out real well.
How long you had that car, Ray, out there?
Since 2007. I bought it new at 2007 when I started on WFNZ radio.
Gotcha.
In 2007, and but it was a brand new 2006 model.
We've gotten a lot of use out of it.
Well, it's been actually the Kia Sedona that I drive has been a good car overall. But when the Hyundai or a Kia hit 100,000 miles,
Right.
that's when it starts to blow up on you. And I don't mean it literally blow up, but that's when you get a lot of problems.
Right.
That's when they all started. Remember the transmission hookup on the flywheel?
Flywheel, yep. I remember that was cracked.
Yep. It went haywire, and they had to pull the transmission out to fix that.
I remember that.
That was a heavy-duty expense. But there again, what's a new car cost these days?
Well, from what I was reading in Motor Trend, the average car price was right about $45,000.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, average car payment $750.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so
That's ridiculous. And these trucks, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 trucks.
Oh yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't want to buy another truck.
I will never buy another new vehicle. Of course, why would I? Actually, somebody could buy me one. I'd be cool for that.
Right.
But no, I have no interest at all in owning a new vehicle. Not in today's world.
Yeah, my days of wanting to own a newer vehicle, I've got, both my vehicles are 6 years, 6 years old.
Right.
I'm very content. My truck, it's got a 10-speed transmission in it. I know it maybe at one point it might go out, so I'm trying to prepare for that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, our time's about up. We got 1 minute and 5 seconds to go.
All right.
How do people get in touch with you if they want to call Compton's?
Yeah, you call us at 704-357-0008 or get to our website at comptonsautomotive.com.
And you can check on a loaner, set up an appointment. You take appointments.
Absolutely. We have online appointment scheduling. You can request a ride. We can do Uber, loaners, shuttle. We even have a text line coming in that asks us questions. So communicate any way you want.
You got it. And you're open what are your hours?
Our hours are from Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
You got it. How many seconds we got there?
Got 19.
19.
17, 16.
I got it. All right. Well, we're going to say goodbye for this week, but last week I told you Garage Door Doctor was in the house. Well, they're going to be in the house next week. Garage Door next week, right here about your house. Thank you, Mr.